students, our program is about to begin.
One love, you're heading on your own love. Time not to be there. She says she won't care. Now you had something before you had nothing. I don't want to care, but your love's real, and it's an odd thing. I cannot be your whole world, but sit on the fake.
Stop. The video stop.
Please welcome ALA Immediate Past President Cindy Hull.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this wonderful celebration of librarianship. I am Cindy Hull, Immediate Past President of the American Library Association and Chair of the I Love My Librarian Committee. Today, we honor this year's recipients of the I Love My Librarian Award, all of whom were nominated by members of their communities for their outstanding public service. These 10 honorees are inspiring examples of what is possible in our profession. They are leaders in their communities, they are advocates for their patrons, they are champions of literacy and inclusion. These librarians are people who power possibility, and their stories are a testament to the profound leadership, compassion, and expertise of our nation's librarians. On behalf of ALA, library workers, and advocates nationwide, I want to wholeheartedly thank the Andrew Carnegie Foundation, formerly the Carnegie Corporation of New York, for its long-standing financial support of this award. Your support allows us to continue celebrating the impact of libraries and librarians year after year. Thank you as well to the New York Public Library, another longtime supporter of this initiative. I would also like to acknowledge my fellow members of this year's I Love My Librarian Award Selection Committee, who devoted many hours to choosing our 10 honorees. They are Becky Calzada, past president of the American Association of School Librarians; Leo Lowe, past president of the Association of College and Research Libraries; Michael Lambert, past president of the Public Library Association; and Carol Matute, vice president of branch libraries and patron services at the New York Public Library. Thank you so much to these leaders for your hard work and insight. We started with a pool of more than 1,300 nominations submitted by library users and lovers across the nation. Thanks to the selection committee's expertise and dedication, we now have 10 outstanding honorees to celebrate. Since its inception in 2008, only 180 out of the nearly 200,000 librarians in the United States have been honored with the I Love My Librarian Award. And now, I'm thrilled to introduce you to our newest group of honorees, all of whom have transformed lives in their libraries, cities, schools, and campuses. Their stories are a powerful reminder of the many ways libraries build community, expand access, and promote inclusion for all. Our honorees are educators, empowering students and lifelong learners of all ages through access to information. From leading enriching programs to supporting research and scholarship, they are committed to spreading knowledge throughout their communities. Our honorees are collaborators, engaging with organizational partners and securing funding to serve their community's needs. Our honorees are champions of inclusion, expanding access to traditionally underserved populations and ensuring their collections represent everyone in their communities. They've worked to make their libraries spaces where people of all backgrounds feel welcome. To our 10 award recipients, your impact goes far beyond the walls of your library. Thank you for your passion and dedication. Now let's get this party started. I'm delighted to introduce this year's I Love My Librarian Award honorees. We all know the landscape of information is vast, and navigating it in search of useful or trustworthy sources can be daunting or overwhelming, like exploring a dense forest. However, with a skilled guide, the trails reveal themselves. For students at Indiana University, Indianapolis, teaching and learning librarian Mahasin Ameen is that guide. In her role, Mahasin empowers students and faculty to navigate and leverage academic databases, identify information resources, and evaluate and assess information quality. And by doing so, she is transforming information literacy into a core component of the university's learning communities. As one of her nominators wrote, Mahasin Ameen's work exemplifies the heart of librarianship, meeting people where they are and helping them achieve their goals. Whether supporting university students as they navigate complex research challenges or helping community members build digital literacy skills, she creates welcoming, empowering spaces that celebrate learning and inclusion. Congratulations, Mahasin.
Okay, so I am still in shock about this, and going first, always fun. So the other day, my sister called me, and she told me that her 6-year-old son reminds her of me. And I'm like, okay, but why? She says, because he always asks me why. And that was me as a kid. And as painful as I know that was for her growing up and how frustrating it must be now, she encourages him to keep asking the question, why? Asking why is a powerful tool. Asking why may get you a solution, but it promotes asking more questions and fosters the importance of curiosity. Thank you to my husband, David, to my family, to my friends, to ALA, my students and faculty, all of the sponsors of this wonderful award, and to the people who ask why with me. Thank you.
We are experiencing an unprecedented surge in book bans in our libraries. Valerie Byrd Fort, a teaching assistant professor at the University of South Carolina, is helping her community push back. Valerie is one of the creators of the Get Ready, Stay Ready Community Action Toolkit, a nationally recognized resource that provides librarians and educators with tools to fight censorship and invites parents and community caregivers to get involved. Building on this toolkit, she helped develop ReadCon, a curriculum for library readiness, advocacy, and community empowerment that equips library workers with tools and strategies to foster constructive dialogue, de-escalate tense situations, connect with stakeholders and decision makers while developing positive messaging. Prior to her role at USC, Valerie served as a school librarian in the state for more than 15 years, and she is leveraging that experience by providing library services at the South Carolina Center for Community Literacy, a children's library operated by USC's School of Information Science that examines new books for children and young adults and provides outreach activities to address community literacy issues. As her nominator wrote, she is the face of librarianship. Her pure love of what libraries and literacy represents, her genuine passion, her smile, her enthusiasm, her desire to reach all students and citizens through the library is how we all know her. And she does it all in the service of librarianship. Congratulations, Valerie.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I am honored to be here in this room full of love. I'm surrounded by my favorite kind of people, librarians, and the people who love them. I've always been, as Michael Threet says, a library kid. I live in Richland County, South Carolina, and my dad would take me to Richland Library almost every week growing up. I checked out stacks of books and found a place where I belonged. Today, I have the privilege of serving on the board of that very same library system that helped shape me. Libraries helped make me who I am. I've been a librarian for 25 years, half of my life. I've worked as a school librarian, traveled across South Carolina with Cocky's Reading Express, reading to children and giving away books, and now I have the privilege of preparing future librarians in the same program where I learned how to be a librarian at the University of South Carolina. Through all of those experiences, I have seen and felt the impact of libraries and librarians. While libraries are facing challenges, we know that libraries are for everyone. We know stories matter. We know that every person, whether they are young or old, who walks through our library doors deserves to feel welcome, valued, and seen. I was nominated for this award because of work that I do in community with others. Get Ready, Stay Ready and ReadCon both were created with the help of Dr. Lucy Santos Green and Dr. April Dawkins, and everything else I do is with others. I do not do any of this alone. Every accomplishment I have had as a librarian has been possible because of people who believed in me, encouraged me, challenged me in a good way. Challenge could be seen in many different ways now in libraries, but who challenged me in a good way, worked alongside me, my professors, my colleagues, my fellow librarians, and my students. I want to thank my husband Marty and my kiddo Katie for their love and support. I want to thank my USC iSchool family, my colleagues at the South Carolina Center for Community Literacy, my librarian friends across South Carolina and beyond, and all of the mentors, collaborators, students, and community partners who have shaped my journey. Of course, I also wish my mom were still here. She taught me that everyone matters. And to everyone in this room and to family and friends watching the live stream, tell a friend to get a library card. Visit your library often, support your library, speak up loudly for libraries and for everyone to have access to the stories they need to feel seen and loved. And to the librarians in this room, thank you. Thank you for showing up every day for your communities. Thank you for creating spaces of belonging, curiosity, learning, and joy. Thank you for continuing to advocate for young people and for the power of libraries. Thank you.
When media specialist Jenny Cox arrived at Georgetown Middle School 8 years ago, she saw an opportunity to reimagine the library as a more dynamic and student-centered space. Today, it's the academic heartbeat of the school. Because of Jenny's efforts, classroom library usage has ballooned to more than 350 instructional class visits each year. She collaborates with teachers across the school to embed library services and literacy skills directly into classroom instruction. Her robust programming has transformed student engagement within the library. Crime scene writing events, custom-designed escape rooms, Amazing Race-inspired academic challenges, Jeopardy tournaments, blacklight glow-a-tree galleries, and the list goes on. Jenny also serves as one of the lead librarians for Georgetown County School District and has worked to bring more funds into district libraries, including advocacy that contributed to an additional $10 per student allocation and spearheading a $400,000 capital funds campaign that placed more than 18,000 new books into students' hands. As one of her nominators wrote, she changes lives, reshapes systems, strengthens our district, and builds futures through literacy, access, mentorship, and advocacy. If there is a librarian in this nation who embodies the true spirit of the I Love My Librarian Award, it's Jenny Cox. Congratulations, Jenny.
Well, first I would like to thank the Andrew Carnegie Foundation, the New York Public Library, the American Library Association, and anyone else who supports this award. To be recognized alongside such incredible librarians from across our country is an honor, and I'm deeply grateful. But honestly, the people I want to most thank are my students. My job would not exist without them. They are the reasons I get to do what I love every single day. They inspire me, they challenge me, they entertain me, and they occasionally make me question my sanity, but I wouldn't have it any other way. My love of books and reading started long before I became a librarian. My 5th grade ELA teacher, Miss Capinetti, was an incredible read-aloud teacher. She introduced me to characters like Ramona Quimby, Anastasia Krupnik, and Peter Hatcher. If you know, you know. She read us books in class in a way that made the characters come alive, and I couldn't wait to go to the library to get the rest of the books in the series. She truly was the first person to make me realize that I was a reader. My mom also loves to read and modeled reading. When I was in middle school, this is a confession, I would sneak her Harlequin romance novels off her bookshelf in her sewing room and read them by flashlight at night. Now, before you get all concerned, they were a lot cleaner back then. And I have confessed that to my mom. But that began a lifelong love of the romance genre. And then there was my first public librarian. Well, she wasn't exactly a librarian. She was a teenage girl in my neighborhood who worked at our small town public library. Glenda helped me get my first library card, and I thought I had won the lottery. She would bring me stacks of Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys books. I read every single one of them, and so began a love for mysteries. Before I finish, I'd also like to thank my husband, Richie, who's here with me tonight. Being married to a middle school librarian is not always easy. Over the years, he has helped me haul books, hang decorations, track down the most random items for library programs, and listen to countless stories that begin with, "You'll never believe what happened in the library today." So thank you, Richie, for supporting my work, encouraging my sometimes crazy ideas, and always being willing to help bring them to life. None of these people probably had any idea they were helping to create a future librarian. They were simply sharing books, a love for reading, and promoting literacy. And that's what librarians do. We rarely get to see the full impact of our work. We may never know which book changed a student's life, which conversations built their confidence, or which library experience sparked a lifelong passion. So to all the librarians here tonight, thank you for the work you do. Never underestimate your impact. You never know when you're going to help create a future teacher, a future reader, or even a future librarian. Thank you.
At the Massachusetts College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences in Boston, Joanne Doucette is supporting future biomedical scientists and health professionals. As an associate professor and associate director for research services and knowledge management at the school's library, she teaches students critical information literacy strategies to strengthen their skills in research and literature analysis. In May 2020, just 2 months after COVID-19 was declared a global pandemic, Joanne joined the Librarian Reserve Corps, a group of more than 100 volunteers worldwide who partnered with the World Health Organization's Global Outbreak Alert and Research Response Network to ensure that health and science professionals had access to updated, reliable information. As one of her nominators wrote, she is knowledgeable, very gracious, and generous with her time, and deeply dedicated to the success of others. Her impact on our students, our institution, and the broader world is profound, enduring, and worthy of the highest recognition. Joanne was unable to join us for tonight's celebration, but we know she is watching the live stream from home. So let's make sure she knows how much she's loved with a big round of applause. Congratulations, Joanne. In rural Jackson County, North Carolina, nestled in the Blue Ridge Mountains southwest of Asheville, the libraries play a central role for a community with limited access to transportation and broadband. And until recently, County Librarian and Fontana Regional Library Director Tracy Fitzmaurice served as a longtime pillar for the libraries. Tracy's focus on inclusivity has made a deep impact among her community, particularly for people with disabilities. She has created custom volunteer opportunities for patrons with autism, hosted film screenings highlighting the meaningful ways people with disabilities enhance a community, and worked to ensure all feel welcome at the library. In February, Tracy resigned from her roles as county librarian for the Jackson County Library System and director of the Fontana Regional Library, following a turbulent period of local politics and personal attacks. But her impact has remained. As one of her nominators wrote, "To our community, Tracy Fitzmaurice is far more than just our county librarian and the director of the Fontana Regional Library. She is an indispensable leader and a powerful advocate to the rural communities of Jackson, Macon, and Swain counties." Congratulations, Tracy.
Hi, I have to get my glasses on. Thank you all for being here, and thank you to the Andrew Carnegie Foundation, the American Library Association, and the New York Public Library for sponsoring this award. I began volunteering at my local public library in 1991, not knowing that it would lead to a career as a public librarian. I realized early on the importance of community and that I had found my calling. For 34 years, serving our community was a guiding light, helping folks every day, figuring out ways to support those in need, and fighting for equal access for every person has been my goal. I wouldn't be here today without all the wonderful people I worked with every day and our amazing friends of the library who support the library in so many different ways. Thanks also to my community who nominated me for this award. And thanks to my mentor, Jeanette Newsom. She hired me long ago and changed the direction of my life. To my beloved partner, Michael, and my son, Dee, who are here with me to celebrate, and my son, Jonah, who's watching from Amsterdam right now. Thank you for your love and support always. Finally, I'd like to dedicate this award to a dearest friend our community lost too soon. Steve Steinbrook was a loving human being and strong supporter of the library and everyone in need. We miss you and won't forget you. Thank you.
A collaborator, a coach, a visionary, a force to be reckoned with, a creative freight train, and in the words of one former student, an 11 out of 10 librarian. Meet Mia Gitlin, librarian at Milpitas High School in Milpitas, California. Prior to Mia's arrival at her school, the library had been shuttered for years, with no way to borrow books or use its resources. Within months of her onboarding, she had revitalized the space, transforming it into a welcoming hub that invites and encourages even the most reluctant readers to stop in. She's also making a larger impact to the field of school librarianship, with service in the California School Library Association, American Association of School Librarians, and a Common Sense ambassador. Since 2019, Mia has also served as a media literacy innovator for KQED, which hosts a national youth media challenge that empowers students to create original audio, video, and other media that are showcased online. As one of her nominators wrote, Mia Gitlin is not just an outstanding librarian. She is a vibrant, innovative, and empathetic mentor who actively transforms the practice of those around her. Her vision, passion, and infectious laugh show her deep, pure love of the library profession. Congratulations, Mia.
So I'm going to take us back to the year 2020. After nearly 2 decades of classroom teaching, I found myself in 2020 pre-diabetic, drained, and deeply depressed. I was broke down and I was burnt out. That year I made 2 life-altering pivots, which led me here tonight. Number 1, I enrolled in the Masters of Library and Information Science program at San Jose State, and then secured a teacher librarian position that fall. And 2, I started getting into shape using the Couch to 5K app. Both of those endeavors took me years to complete, but launched me in a net positive direction. In the past 5 years, I've continued to make a series of small changes that transformed my well-being, both personally and professionally. As you know, librarians are givers, but how many of us give generously to ourselves? So many of us prioritize our work to a fault. My goal is to inspire more commitment to self-care. For instance, I organize monthly fitness meetups for local educators to try different workouts together in a welcoming environment, and I've organized various wellness activities at school library conferences. My next mission is to bring together a cohort of librarians and educators to attend a Tony Robbins self-transformation seminar. So much becomes possible when we invest in ourselves. In 2024, I was one of 50 librarians across the country selected to participate in the ALA Emerging Leaders Program, which opened up so many doors. Since then, by volunteering on committees and expanding my network, connecting and sharing with fellow librarians, my knowledge and contribution to the field has increased exponentially, which brings dividends of inspiration that enhance my school library. Providing pipelines for mentorship and leadership in librarianship is important. Recently, the Emerging Leaders program was paused. It's critical that these programs exist so more librarians have opportunities to grow and to thrive. In my current position as a school librarian, I, like many others in my network, have had the monumental task of rebuilding a once shuttered school library. This should be of no surprise, as funding in schools fluctuates and library programs are often cut, though fortunately, there are times that they're later reinstated. What is unconscionable is that California has the worst ratio of students to school librarians, and so many students in California and across the country don't have access to a school library. In an era of ever-expanding technology, including our friend AI, information literacy is more important than ever. Plus, the school library serves as a central community hub and the heart and the soul of our campus. That is why every student deserves a well-resourced school library that's staffed by a librarian. The reality is, we're constantly confronted with challenges. When our buckets are full, we have the strength to stand together, to champion literacy and learning, information and ideas, stories and school libraries. When we work on ourselves, when we work together, we are unstoppable. We are what it takes to push for libraries, for literacy, for lifelong learning. So here is to libraries and the future of librarianship.
The children's room at Hubbard Public Library was once a dark, cement-walled basement. Then Mary Ann Russo got to work. Working with an architect to reimagine the space, Mary Ann, now retired from her role as children's librarian after a cumulative 42 years of library service, transformed the children's room into an open, vibrant space with natural lighting, an indoor gazebo, a dedicated space for children's programming, and just outside, a sensory garden with plants, waterfalls, and chimes. The space now welcomes families into a lively area that allowed their imagination, creativity, and sense of wonder to expand, where literacy and learning thrive and where the magic begins. Marianne has also worked to support intergenerational engagement, implementing the Summer Reading Pals program that invites families with children aged 5 and up to meet weekly at the library to read a new book and share activities with residents from Elmwood, a local assisted living facility for senior citizens. As one of her nominators wrote, Marianne Russo is a leader at Hubbard Public Library, the Hubbard community, and beyond. She inspires many others by her above and beyond actions and her passion, vision, and commitment. Congratulations, Marianne.
Thank you to the American Library Association, the Andrew Carnegie Foundation, and the New York Public Library. Thank you to all of the librarians and library staff members I have worked with over the 42 years of my career. To the countless library patrons who granted me the privilege of playing a role in their life stories. And to everyone who supported my nomination. Thank you to my husband, Tony, and all of my family and friends for your love and support. I am honored and astounded to receive this recognition for expanding imaginations. Once upon a time, I was a young girl who fell in love with the magic of books. I have a vivid memory of my first grade teacher perched on the edge of her desk. I can even still see her shoe dangling off her foot as she casually sat there reading aloud to us. The book I remember most is the story about Ping. I felt terribly frightened for the little duck named Ping. And to be honest, I didn't even like the story at all. But yet, it opened my mind to the immense power of books, their ability to evoke emotions, touch hearts, engage thinking, and expand imaginations. I have been fortunate to spend a career enriching the lives of children as well as their adult caregivers by creating an imaginative children's room environment and facilitating engaging programs that showcase the wonders of books. I've made lasting connections with some of my library kids and their families. When I shared the news of this award with one of them, who was a voracious young reader and a dedicated program participant, later a teen volunteer, now a writer, he offered me congratulations, and then he said, "I wouldn't be me if you hadn't been you." What a tribute to the ability each of us has as librarians to touch lives. I received the phone call about the award just a few weeks after my retirement. Emotionally, I had closed the book on the library portion of my life. I truly loved my career, and although life told me it was time to retire, like a novel you love reading, I was sad to see it end. This award feels like an incredible bonus chapter to that wonderful book, and I'm savoring every moment. Thank you.
Authenticity, integrity, creativity, curiosity, and empathy. These are the values of the Alameda County Library in California, and they come to life through the work of County Librarian Deb Sloss. Under her guidance, the library has become a place where authenticity is welcomed and mistakes are treated as opportunities to learn. Deb has shaped her library career fighting for racial equity, LGBTQ rights, and intellectual freedom. At the Alameda County Library, she led the creation of the Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, or JEDI team, a small group that has since blossomed into an Equitable Libraries Division, which targets programs to distinct communities and manages access and outreach services for underserved groups. She has also positioned the library as the sponsoring department for the Alameda County Reparations Commission, which aims to address generations of harm against the county's Black residents. As one of her nominators wrote, Deb doesn't just support the community, she lifts it. She builds relationships, bridges gaps, and makes people feel welcome, valued, and safe to be themselves. She has created a culture grounded in dignity, empathy, and possibility. Her leadership doesn't just change policies or programs, it changes people. Congratulations, Deb.
Wow, what a night. Thank you so much for this extraordinary moment in my career. The I Love My Librarian Award means so much to me because it honors what libraries do best. We weave people together, we strengthen communities, and we expand access where it is needed most. I want to recognize my fellow honorees. Thank you. It's an inspiration to stand alongside you. In my office, there's an embroidered pillow that reads, "Richer than me, you will never be. I had a mother who read to me." The quote is personal, but not only because my mother read to me, but because reading and embroidery were how we created harmony in the quiet morning hours of a chaotic life. Shared skills, patient practice are part of my identity and my family's history. My maternal grandmother's hometown in Santa Caterina Caltanissetta in Sicily carries a 1,000-year tradition of embroidery, preserved by generations of women whose survival depended on their hands. My great-grandmother raised her children alone, stitched baptismal gowns and wedding lace, piece by piece, work born out of necessity, yet full of artistry and integrity. Education and learning is another thread in that lineage. My grandfather sent my mother to college when everyone around him said it was a waste of time and of money. He stood firm alone in his belief that an educated woman is an educated home. That conviction changed my mother's life and in turn changed mine. It is a part of the fabric that brought me to librarianship and a part of why I believe so deeply in the power of equitable access to learning. Embroidery, education, and librarianship have all taught me that overlooked, undervalued skills and people can create the strongest connections. They rely on patience, endurance, and relentlessness. Excuse me. They are quiet forms of care that hold us together, and they mirror what libraries do every day. Thread by thread, we build connection, expand opportunity, spark creativity, and work towards equity. And when the work is humble and unseen, we continue to do it. I'm here because so many people have stitched their support into my life. To my wife, whose love and honesty and partnership have anchored me for 27 years. To my family, both present and past, who gave me stories and a sense of self, service, and strength. Thank you for your joy and for your grounding. To those who wrote letters of support, Your words are touchstones on the hardest of days. And to Aaron Jones and the Alameda County Library Central Leadership Team, your courage, your compassion, and your conviction illuminate the path to equity. This award reminds me why we pick up the needle and thread every day, adding one more stitch to a more connected, more equitable, more just world. Thank you for this incredible honor.
At Erickson Public Library in Boone, Iowa, Dr. Zachary Steer, or as many fans call him, Mr. Z, has transformed the library into a launchpad for discovery by connecting literacy with science and creating opportunities for learners of all ages, while doing it all with infectious warmth and humor. During his 15-year tenure, he has created original programs and helped forge more than 50 partnerships that bring Boone's 12,500 residents the kind of world-class library experience that every child deserves. Zachary was the co-mastermind of the library's popular Little Engines project, a program that supports early learning by providing access to fun, educational, and interactive family engagement activities using the reading tracking program Beanstack. Little Engines has resulted in tens of thousands of additional minutes spent reading. As one of his nominators wrote, Mr. Z has become a cornerstone of our community, creating a welcoming space where children and parents come together to learn, imagine, and grow. His work fosters not only a love of reading, but also a sense of belonging and connection that strengthens the community as a whole. Congratulations, Mr. Z.
Yay, this is so exciting. And look, I should have brought my puppet. I see my Freddy Yeti puppet there. Well, good evening, friends. I am deeply honored and humbled to receive the I Love My Librarian Award. To be recognized through an award rooted in community, in service, and human connection is something I do not take lightly. My sincere thanks to the awards committee, the sponsors, to everyone who nominated me, to the staff of the Erickson Public Library, and to the Boone, Iowa community. A special thanks to my family, whose support, encouragement, and belief in me have carried me through every chapter of my journey. What moves me most about this award is its reminder that libraries are ultimately about people. They are about relationships, and they are about helping others feel seen, valued, and that they belong. I've been working in libraries since I was 15 years old, and for nearly 20 years, I've had the privilege of serving children, youth, and families, but I've never considered this work simply a job. For me, it is a calling to help children discover the joy of reading, to create spaces where people know that they matter, and above all, to practice kindness. Author Henry James, who Fred Rogers famously recited, stated, "3 things in human life are important. The first is to be kind, the second is to be kind, and the third is to be kind. I try every day to live that truth." Stories have also shaped who I am. Patrick from Perks of Being a Wallflower taught me courage. Atticus from To Kill a Mockingbird taught me integrity. Peter from The Snowy Day showed me that beauty is all around us. And Charlotte, my sweet Charlotte from Charlotte's Web, taught me grace. These characters, their journeys, and their wisdom are part of my lived experience. Try as some might to ban these books, what they have given me can never be taken away. They have shaped how I see the world and how I serve others. And if stories have taught me to live, so have the people I have loved. This time last year, I said goodbye to one of my greatest heroes, my father, Doug. Many in our community knew him through the more than 10 storybook characters that he brought to life, touching the hearts of thousands of children. As he passed, I held his hand, I squeezed it 3 times, telling him, I love you. When I think about the I Love My Librarian Award, I think about moments like that, not the programs, statistics, or accomplishments, but the relationships that endure. Both my parents taught me that the greatest impact we have is not in what we do, but in how we make people feel. So tonight I leave you with this question. In a world that can sometimes feel divided, how might each of us choose to show a little more kindness, protect one another's stories, and remind people that they belong? Thank you.
Between overseeing the school's newspaper and literacy magazine and advising Student Council and Podcast Club, Christine Saluga stays busy supporting the 1,200 students at Cranford High School in New Jersey. Under her leadership as the school's librarian, the library has flourished as a dynamic hub for academic support and student enrichment. Since joining the school in 2019, Christine has transformed learning and engagement in the library, securing grant funding to support the addition of a makerspace, local history archive, and podcast studio. Spaces that encourage students to explore new technologies, engage in creative projects, and develop digital skills. Her efforts to modernize the library have increased circulation in the library by 300%. In 2024, Christine spearheaded the Cranford Dixie Giants Project, a local history initiative where students researched Cranford's semi-professional all-black baseball team that played in the early 20th century. What began as a simple community-wide effort to honor the team and uncover its hidden history. As one of her nominators wrote, the library is the heart of the school community, and Mrs. Saluga is at the center. As a leader in the school, she inspires students through her love of learning, and her infectious enthusiasm for reading often helps to see themselves as lifelong readers. Congratulations, Christine.
Last one, everyone. All right, good evening, and thank you so much to the American Library Association for this incredible honor. I would also like to extend my sincere thanks to the Andrew Carnegie Foundation and the New York Public Library for sponsoring this award. Most importantly, thank you to my amazing colleagues who nominated me. To be recognized by people whose work and dedication I admire so deeply means more than I can say. My connection to libraries began long before my career. In 1995, when I was a 5th grader in New York City, I learned that my local public library branch was facing closure. My classmates and I wrote letters to the mayor asking him to keep it open. At the time, I couldn't have imagined that this small act of advocacy would become the beginning of a lifelong commitment to libraries. Years later, after college, I had the opportunity to work at that very same library branch. It was a full circle moment that I will never forget. Sitting behind the desk at that library I had once fought to save as a child reinforced something I had known all along. Libraries change lives. Over the past 20 years, I have been fortunate to work in library and library-adjacent roles, eventually finding my home in school librarianship. As school librarians, we have the unique privilege of helping students discover who they are and who they can become. Every day we foster curiosity, support learning, encourage critical thinking, and help young people develop a love of reading that can last a lifetime. We create spaces where students feel safe, welcomed, valued, and empowered to explore their interests and ideas. It is a place where students connect with stories, with information, with one another, and with themselves. I'm grateful to the teachers, administrators, fellow librarians, mentors, friends, and family members who have supported me through this journey. Most of all, I want to thank my students. Your questions, creativity, enthusiasm, and curiosity remind me every day why this work matters. From a 5th grader writing a letter to save her local library to a school librarian standing here today, one thing has remained constant. I believe in the power of libraries to transform lives, strengthen communities, and open doors to possibility. I also want to do a quick shout out to my kids who are watching right now. It's time for bed. I love you very much. Thank you.
Thank you all for joining us for this special event. I said it before and I'll say it again. These 10 librarians are people who power possibility in our neighborhoods, in our schools, in our places of higher learning, and beyond. As our profession continues to face mounting challenges, it's truly a joy to come together and celebrate something so uplifting, and to see the positive and deep impact that librarians have on our communities. Please join me in a final round of applause for this year's I Love My Librarian Award honors. To all those tuning in at home, thank you for watching. We're so grateful for your support of these amazing librarians, and to all of those in this room, let's continue the celebration as we enjoy the welcome reception. Have a wonderful time in Chicago and at our ALA annual conference. Thank you.